As I was saying, the global positioning system is used to track plate movement. It is a group of 24 satellites orbiting above the Earth, which transmit a signal. This signal is then picked up, received by radio receivers and other devices on the ground. This allows scientists to measure plate tectonic movement within a fraction of a millimeter, so it's very accurate. It also mentions digital relief maps, and that was a very big part of the lab, which are basically computer-generated representations of three-dimensional surfaces. They use shading and color to illustrate varying elevations. Now I'll be showing some pictures of the lab and essentially the examples of the different types of plate boundaries and what was illustrated when those plate boundaries were miniaturized down to a ball of clay. This is a divergent boundary, and as you can see, forgive the crude picture, this is on my laptop, the plates pretty much pulled apart. It left a ridge in the middle, or a rift, as the lesson stated. Normally that would fill up with magma, creating new material, and that's a divergent plate boundary. Now I'm going to show you the convergent plate boundary. Again, forgive the crude picture, but as you can see, one side, the right side specifically, went underneath the left side. This is known as subduction, and this part of the plate would go underneath would be subducted underneath the thicker plate and essentially start melting, which would create magma, which would then rise to the surface of the Earth, and that would be in the form of volcanic activity, things like that. Finally, the transform plate boundary was pretty interesting the way it came apart. I mean, it just literally slid. There was no destruction one way or the other. And that's something that the module and this lab conveyed, was that there really isn't a whole lot of destruction within this type of plate boundary. Now I'm going to go through some of the questions that I answered. I did this a little bit different, Dr. Pereira. I hope you don't mind. What I did was I went through the questions and answers electronically. I answered them through the HolScience website, and then I obviously made this video. On my next one, I will follow the instructions to the T and just do the video. In any case, the first question that it asks to point out on the map is a divergent plate boundary that occurs between the African and Arabian tectonic plates.